What if you could have one luxury car to do it all? And I'm not talking about an SUV here. One that's stunning to look at, be a pleasure to drive, comfortable to sit in, well equipped. Is this the car? Is BMW's 840i, its 8 Series Gran Coupe, good enough for the job? Well, let's break it down. First up, those ground-hugging looks. With its low-slung sports car nose, long, fast-flowing roof and strong shoulders, the 8 Series Gran Coupe just grabs your attention. The long flat bonnet and the tight-fitting roof give it plenty of elegance, and what helps balance it out is that long wheelbase. The rear is probably the most attractive bit. The integrated ducktail spoiler sets the theme, and what makes it even more squat is that the 840 sits on a wide base, which of course helps give it that much wanted bottom heavy look. So yeah, it's got the look, but what of space and comfort on the inside? Despite the wide central tunnel that runs all the way to the back, there's plenty of space in the back. And the individual rear seats with their integrated headrests work pretty well too. So as you can expect, you're seated quite low and this roof is a bit tight, so headroom is marginal. But surprisingly, you have a lot of thigh support, there's plenty of leg room, and though the backrest is at a bit of an odd angle, in general, comfort is pretty good. Other interesting bits include the controls here, where you can raise this blind, put the one at the back up, open the sunroof, and just relax. I also like this flock line box where you can keep something valuable like your phone or your watch, and then this magnetic little bit here that covers the ISOFIX point. That's pretty neat too. Amazingly, sitting 3 abreast in the rear is technically possible. There's even a third seat belt, but the passenger will have to sit astride the rear central console, which is sort of weird. Up front, however, you are immediately comfortable in the driver's seat. So immediately a very sporty driving position. You're seated low, but visibility is good, and with this seat, the sporty seat here, you get great support on both sides, large shoulder support. So an environment that you really enjoy driving in. It's also beautifully built, a lot of luxury here. Look at this leather covered dash, for example. It's something you just want to keep touching. Double stitched leather here. And the manner in which this chrome has been finished and detailed is just absolutely perfect. What also adds a lot of bling are these crystal highlights. Now this knurled chrome isn't enough. There's a crystal layer here that reflects, one here on the iDrive controller, one on the starter, as well as one on this gear lever. And the 8 Series Gran Coupe also has plenty of other kit. This includes wireless charging, gesture control for the iDrive, BMW laser lights and head-up display. Must say, I also like the cockpit-like feel of the cabin with its severely raked windshield, individual seats and that long center console which runs all the way to the back. Like the rest of the cabin, the boot sacrifices space for style. 440 litres isn't great for a car of this length, and you don't get a spare wheel either, not even a space saver. So it isn't very practical, but just how good is it to ride in and to drive? Now this is a sporty car, but what's surprising is that the ride is pretty supple. Now we are on a really bad patch here, but well, because these wheels aren't too large and the suspension is in comfort, it's pretty impressive. Yes, there is a hint of thump over larger potholes, and you have to be careful over the large speed breakers and speed humps. Still, despite everything, the BMW rounds off most bumps and potholes surprisingly well. Let's not forget, this chassis is based on the stiff 7 Series that uses BMW's carbon core technology to stiffen the central tunnel and other important areas. And not only is the ride smooth, the engine is also super smooth, especially at low revs, where it just purrs and pulls you along effortlessly. It's also surprisingly easy and relaxing to drive in traffic. The steering is nice and light at low speed, the brakes are set up beautifully, and the gearbox is smooth and hassle-free. Then there's the other side. Put it in sport, put your foot down, and although this isn't an M car, the engine just loves to rev and performance is pretty strong. While the performance of the 840i is far removed from something like an M8, the 0 to 100 time of 5.48 seconds, our test figures, is very respectable, and it even gets to 160 from rest in 12.08 seconds. The 340 horsepower turbocharged straight 6 doesn't quite have that initial sledgehammer punch of a bigger V8, and that 8-cylinder growl is missing. Still, the sublime 3 litre is massively charming, and it has 500 Newton meters of torque. The engine loves to visit the red line. Wow, there's a good amount of performance here. The best bit is just how agile it feels. There's a litheness and fluidity here missing on some of BMW's more heavy-footed 4-wheel drive cars. Now this is no M car, so on some of the tighter stuff you do feel the weight, but that's only natural. And what it has instead is that sweet rear-wheel drive balance, with the weight of the car evenly split between the 4 wheels. And the 840i steering is special too, sending back reams of information to my palms. This is overall a pretty special driving experience. It's not easy being a 4-door coupe. The list of must-haves is long, and many of these requirements are at odds with each other. BMW's 840i, however, manages to tick many of them. First and foremost, it's an absolute peach to drive. The straight 6 has an explosive kick in the top end, the gearbox is quick and intuitive to use, and then the innate rear-wheel drive balance is so good, it drives with the agility of a car half its size. It also rides well, it's attractive looking, the cabin is well appointed, and comfort levels up front are good. It's a bit expensive at Rs 1.32 crore. The rear seat isn't good enough to use every day, day in and day out, and at this price a larger capacity V8 under the hood would have made for a good addition. Still, if you want an ideal combination of a sporty GT and a practical 4-door, few cars come closer to delivering that ideal compromise. Tired of running a mud-plugging SUV on a road, an environment it isn't especially designed for? The 840i Gran Coupe from BMW could be just the luxury car you're looking for.